It is maintenance time, and that means we can't play Final Fantasy XIV until tomorrow. But we are not without content, because the patch notes are here. So let's read through them together and see what is coming. Starting with playable content, we are getting a new main story. To start the questline, you pick up the quest A Glimmer of the Past, given by Krile in the backrooms. The next part of the Arcadian is releasing with a very exciting set of bosses, including one that is dancing a lot. To start part 2 of the Arcadian, you need to pick up the quest Soul Under Siege from Yana in Solution 9. And then we also have a new side quest from the Corn Servant. It is called When Death Comes to Dinner, and you can pick it up in Tuliolal. There is also a minor update to New Game Plus. You can now perform repairs and access weather forecast when playing New Game Plus, which is very good. There is a lot of restrictions when playing New Game Plus that kinda confuse me, so I am glad to see they're easing up on some of them. In Treasure Hunt updates, the rewards for the Lobo skin and the Brack skin treasure maps have been adjusted, and the rewards in the Cenote Jaja Coral have also been adjusted. For free companies, there have been some updates to the subaquatic voyages. We have new areas, new items, and the maximum submersible rank has been increased from 125 to 130. You can now disable the SSAO for indoor furnishing. To change the settings, you need to go into the interior setting window under the housing menu and simply check or uncheck the disable SSAO for furnishing option. This used to be the menu known as lighting interface, but has been renamed to interior settings. Of course, to do this in your company estate, you have to have the proper authority. There is also a demolition update. Now if you enter the garden of your house or your free estate house, and while it's scheduled for auto demolition, you will now get a message warning you, so you can remember to pop into the house to make sure that your house isn't lost. We have some new furnishing from the Furnishing Design Contest, both winners but also furnishing inspired by entries that did not win. We have some indoor items, including more jobstones, and some really nice outdoor set. I am personally very fond of that gate, and I can definitely see that rounded hedge being very popular. There have also been some general furnishing added. This time some of the furnishing has a very strong Kugane feel. We are getting a new decoration based on the upcoming trial, and I don't know what happened to cause the doors to have warning tapes, but they are also there. We have a new housing light and a new tree to place in our garden. New orchestration roles have been added, they don't tell us which ones, and there is new fish to be added into your aquariums. We are getting new growable flowers. These are the paper flowers, and can be bought from the usual materia supplier vendors, the apartment vendor, and Tani in New Gridania. In the gold saucer, we have new prices, and of course new triple triad cards and NPC opponents. Though those opponents are unlikely to be within the gold saucer, and we will have to find them somewhere out in the world. In miscellaneous updates, we have a new category called Field Operations being added to the challenge log. The challenges for Eureka and Bosia will now be in there, and obviously we can expect Occult Crescent challenges to be within there too in the future. The Sunken Temple of Corn and the Underkeep have been added to duty support. And then we come to Chloe, our friendly girl who keeps on giving us a book and then putting the stickers in wrong places. There have been some adjustment to her rewards. The Underkeep and Juno the First Walk have been added to the journal, and they have made some name changes to better clarify which duties are gonna work to actually get your sticker. Now to the Fox Hollows. We will no longer be fighting the Jade Stoa and instead are moving to the Hell's Keer. Of course, you must finish the regular version of Hell's Keers before challenging the Unreal one. And there's a new mount being added. This is some fierce looking anteater kind of creature, and I am excited to see how it moves in game. The duties in the duty recorder have been updated. Does any of you use this feature? I'm just curious, I have never tried it. Tell me if you do, and what do you use it for? Do you get good information from this? And then we have a new emote, which looks like it's being dizzy with a bunch of baby chocoboos flying around you. There are 2 other emotes being added, those are the Tome Scroll and the Study. These are simply the looped version of the Tombstone and the Read emotes, something I am excited to see, especially the Read one. Now there is a massive amount of adjustments to the different jobs. I am not very good at calculating these, so I will trust others to do it better, but I am gonna show them here on the screen, so you can pause the video and check out the jobs you are most interested in. We have the Paladin, the Warrior, the Dark Knight, the Gunbreaker, the Monk, the Dragoon, the Ninja with a whole lot of changes, the Samurai, the Reaper, the Viper, the Bard, the Machinist. I'm gonna go with Dancer Part 1 and Dancer Part 2. Same with the Black Mage Part 1, Black Mage Part 2. The Summoner, the Red Mage. So, Pictomancer Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5, Part 6. The White Mage, the Scholar, the Astrologian, and the Sage. Some of these are getting more changes than others, as you can see. Notable changes for Black Mage: the effect duration of Astral Fire and Umbral Eyes is no longer displayed on Black Mage Elemental Gauge. And now the following actions can be queued for execution: use meal, use medicine, and sprint. The Underkeep will be our new dungeon, and it will unlock as part of the main story. They have added an item level sync to the Tender Valley, the Strayburrow Deadwalk, and the UV Waterfield Station dungeons. And after beginning a boss encounter in any dungeon introduced prior to patch 7.0, the shortcut dwarf will take a player to the boss's area's entrance, which makes the runbacks so much easier. There is a new trial being added called Recollection. It will unlock through the main story. And of course there will be an extreme version, which has a new pretty mount. The Hell's Gear Unrail is gonna unlock, and the drop rates for the Wings of Ruin and Wings of Resolve have been increased. The Arcadium Cruiserweight tier has been added. Make note, at the end of each fight, there will be a treasure chest with tokens. Please remember, you can only get 1 token per boss, so make sure to pick wisely. Finishing Cruiserweight Match 4 is guaranteed to give you a weapon token, which you need to collect for a few weeks so you can get a brand new weapon. The Cruiserweight tier Savage will be accessible on Tuesday, April 1st. They have added the Echo to the Sween's Burden Extreme Trial for when everyone dies. The weekly restriction on rewards obtained from Juno the First Walk has been removed, as well as the restriction on Ordell coins. The Tattered Sheet music, only available in the Final Treasure for the entire raid, can now also be found in the Final Treasure coffer, designated to each party, after each individual boss. The bonus experience from Duty Roulette Alliance Race has been increased. The bonus experience point received upon completing duties in Duty Roulette Alliance Raid has been increased, except for Circus Tower and the World of Darkness from A Realm Reborn. The experience point earned from defeating bosses in the Endwalker Alliance raid should now be adjusted to better align with the other Alliance raids. Made some adjustments to the location of Cloud Dark Demi Materia 2 when speaking to Uashepa in Solution 9. It makes it align apparently better with the Cloud of Darkness chaotic exchange items. For Future's rewritten Ultimate, the weekly restriction on obtaining Oracle Totems has been removed, and the level sync has been set to item level 735. This is done to preserve the difficulty of the encounters, as well as the rarity of the achievement rewarded for its completion. In Tombstone changes, we now have the Elegant Tombstones of Mathematics. These are the 7.2 main tombstones. You can obtain 450 a week, to a maximum of 2,000 being held at a time. That means the limit on Elegant Tombstones of Heliometry has been removed. The Tombstones of Aesthetics are no longer usable, but can be exchanged for Elegant Tombstones of Heliometry. And the Tombstones of Causality and Comedy will be removed entirely. The Duty Roulette Expert has been changed, and now will only have Juve Waterfield Station and the Underkeep. Now Alexandria, Tender Valley and the Strayburrow Deadwalk have instead been added to the level cap dungeon category. Recollection has been added to the Duty Roulette Trials, Juno the First Walk to the Alliance Duty Roulette, and the cruiserweight rates have been added to the normal duty roulette. And of course, for the duty roulette mentor, all the new content is being added. With the changes to the tombstones, they will of course adjust accordingly in any content. Stone, Sky and Sea is being updated with the Recollection Extreme and the Cruiserweight, both the normal and Savage version. With Sunken Temple of Corn now being in duty support, they have made adjustment to all of the main boss fights. And then there have been some PvP action changes. Like before, I will show this on the screen for you to pause the video and check. So we have the Paladin, the Warrior, the Dark Knight, the Gunbreaker, the Monk, the Samurai, the Viper, the Machinist, the Dancer, the Black Mage, the Summoner, the Scholar, Astrologian, and Sage. In large-scale PvP, duty-specific role actions are being added. These are available in Frontline, Rival Wings, and Wolf's Den Pier. Each role has 3 actions, and only one may be selected for use. You can select the assigned role onto the PvP profile. During PvP matches, you can go to the starting area to change your choice. If you find one of the other actions are going to be more useful during a fight. I'm going to show the actions on the screen now. We have the tank, the melee DPS, the physical range DPS, magical range DPS, and healers. Activation has also been shortened for several PvP actions. These are the ones for the tanks, the melee DPS, the physical range DPS, and the casters, and healers. Then there have been changes to the effect and motion of the Hyoso Ranyu for Ninja, the Dance of the Dawn for the Dancer, and Resolution for the Red Mage. There are new items available in exchange for trophy crystals, so make sure to check out the store. And of course, Series 8 is about to begin, with the main reward this time being this spider-looking mount. In Crystalline Conflict, Season 14 is about to begin. If you finish with Bronze tier or higher in Season 13, you can talk to the Seasonal Quartermaster in the Wolf's Den Pier to get your reward. Season 14 will be held in the following data centers: Meteor for Japan, Crystal for North America, Chaos for Europe, and Materia for Oceania. In Crystalline Conflict, the tactical crystal's movement speed is no longer increased if it is within a distance from the center point that is less than the opposing team progress record. If you understood what that means, then I am very proud of you, because I do not. That is quite a mouthful. The losing team's clear progress speed is no longer increased at checkpoints, and keypoints have been added, allowing the direct targeting of opposing players. In Frontline specifically, adjustments have been made to damage output and damage taken, and limit gauge fill rates for the different jobs. Those are for the Warrior and the Dark Knight, the Dragoon and the Ninja, Viper and the Black Mage, Red Mage and White Mage, and Astrologian and Sage. The following adjustments have been made to battle high rating gained upon knockout or assisting. For knockout, it has been reduced from 10 to 8, and from assist, increased from 2 to 4. And at long last, the Borderland ruins are returning, with some updates to hopefully make it even more fun. They have adjusted the terrain of the area, the distribution key location. They have added teleportation panels to teleport players to the central area. The amount of tactical points awarded has been adjusted in accordance with the number of key locations occupied. Now, if you're standing near the flag of a key location, you will get a buff known as Sheer Will, which greatly increases damage dealt. There is a new enemy called the Interceptor Commander System. It will use perimeter cannons, and by absorbing its attacks, player may increase the rating and gain tactical points for the team. They have adjusted the patterns of enemies appearing. The action executed by intercepted drones and interceptor nodes has been adjusted. The party doing the most damage to a drone when it dies will gain battle high rating for all its members. And when intercepted drones are deployed, an intercepted drone A may appear. This enemy will give more tactical points if defeated. When the interceptor's node HP is reduced to 0, it will regain all of its HP up to 5 times. Each time it is though reduced to 0, teams will be awarded tactical points according to their contribution of damage dealt. There have been visual and audio effects added to the moments when tactical points are awarded for defeating monsters or successfully navigating their attacks. They have also added a clock that seems to be counting down to when the weapons are gonna be deployed. But now let's look at the items. The first thing we are shown is the tombstone gear, and then the crafting gear. Then we have a bunch of things getting their second dye channel. I am not gonna read all of these because this is just a lot. I'm just gonna scroll slowly past these items so you can read them if you like. But I am really glad to see that they keep on updating things with double dye slots. Because honestly, the double dye slots have been such a game changer when it comes to glam. I've seen pieces that people haven't been using that much suddenly being used in a lot of different glams, because the colors were what was limiting the piece to begin with. We also have 2 items now being equipable regardless of gender. Those are the black feathered and red feathered flat hats. In the glamour dresser, when creating an outfit glamour, the location in which each individual gear piece was previously stored will now be displayed in the log window. So hopefully it will be a little bit easier to find them and add them into a full-on outfit glamour, so you can store them for far less slots. The Neo Kingdom gear can now be purchased in exchange for sacks of nuts. Apparently certain items can now be sold, desynthesized and submitted as expert deliveries or used in materia extraction. They don't specify which ones. They have also added secondary attributes to the following items. The Exquisite Swill Crossblade has had its direct hit rate changed to determination, and the Exquisite Renaissance Brush has switched the stats on the critical hit and the direct hit rate. The description of certain pugilist arms has been updated to indicate that the weapon appearance may take precedence over the display of handgear. They have added new miner and botanist gathering points, with of course new items being added to those gathering points. They have adjusted the location of certain gathering points in Yagtel, and an effect now displays when Collector Standard and Collector's High Standard status are active. They have added new fish, and now the mudfish and the Yagtel catfish can be caught using the golden stonefly nymph bait. A feature to batch select required materials by quality has been added to the crafting log, hopefully making it easier to craft quickly. They have removed the level requirement for master crafting recipes. The level cap for desynthesizing has been increased from 720 to 740, and of course we have a new mount from the new Extreme Trial. But not just that. Now, as we run, we can summon our mount without having to stop, which I think is going to be very handy both in PvP and when crafting and gathering. They have added a new Chocobo Barting based on the new trial, and some new minions, with one of them being this adorable pup. They've added some new face wear, which does include an eye patch, so if an eye patch is something you want your character to wear, but you would also like to wear a hat, you can now do that. There has been a graphical adjustment made to player character models based on feedback from the community. Because of this, you can now get a free file of Fantasia from the Wandering Moogle in Old Gridania. This reward will be obtainable until the release of patch 7.3. Shadow quality has been adjusted, with the game now taking note of multiple light sources. They have made some adjustment to NPCs, including adjusting model quality, texture resolution, and material qualities of faces, along with the resolution and material qualities of their gear. They have updated the graphical details of the following gear. I'm just gonna scroll through because this is a lot as before. Vegetation in Heavensward and up areas has been adjusted. In cities, fields, instant events and the diadem. In instant dungeons, raids, Eureka expedition areas and Save the Queen areas. In cities and fields, number of objects have been increased, polygon count has been increased and texture resolution has been increased. In the example pictures, we can see a far more lush river and a much nicer looking shopping stall. Make note, the Coerthas Western Highland, the Raktika Greatwood, the Tempest and Ultima Thule have not been changed. They've also added number of shadows cast in rooms in the Twin Adder Barracks, the Maelstrom Barracks, the Yulmore Canopy and certain instance events. In system updates, the General Action Sprint now grants the Jog status effect once the effect expires. Jog affords a more modest speed increase but has an unlimited duration. The effect expires when enmity is generated, but this will allow us to jog around the cities at least much faster. They have made adjustment to the actions and trade windows. For example, a display option to list action by function has been added to the Disciples of the Hand to Land. New actions corresponding to targets marked with different signs have been added to the General tab. In order to prevent server congestion, they will be implementing multiple field instances of Solution 9, Heart is Found, and the areas newly added in patch 7.2. These will be removed when congestion reduces. And they have added several new achievements for Scyther Spiders to have a lot of fun with. Retainers now have a new exploration, and new items can now be obtained from quick exploration ventures. Also, now the guild currency symbol is added behind the guild entrusted to the retainer. I don't know if this was bothering anybody, but it has then now been fixed. With the exception of gear, trade items are now displayed in the log window. The following online statuses will now also display when display class or job icon with nameplate is selected. So these are the recruiting party members, looking for party leader, viewing cutscene, camera mode, and so on. They have made some adjustment to portraits. We have some new accents, new poses, and the PvP category filter accessible via the edit portrait window has now been split into PvP series and PvP seasons. They have added new portrait accents for adventure plates. These are looking very pretty, and I would not mind obtaining some of these. They've also made some adjustment to G-pose. They have adjusted the depth of field, giving us much more range. They've added several new stickers, and of course, the patch logo frame has been updated with patch 7.2 logo. As expected after the blacklist issues, we are getting an update to the blacklist in the accordance with measures introduced in patch 7.2 to help prevent the identification of account IDs that are not displayed in-game. Relevant saved client data has been reset. They do apologize for any inconvenient cost and ask for us to understand as they introduce these measures. So, although information registered on the blacklist has been preserved, character blacklisted prior to patch 7.2 will be displayed as character name, could not be retrieved, and any saved comment will be deleted. So, as a result, players will not be able to distinguish between characters blacklisted prior to patch 7.2. To have the name displayed once again, you will have to remove this character from your blacklist and then register them again. All information registered on the mute list has been deleted, and players will be unable to blacklist characters that were registered as contacts prior to patch 7.2 via the contact list. They have added text commands for the Doom Scroll, Study, and Dazed emote. For data center travel, the destination world will now be listed in random order because apparently this is to alleviate stress issues because apparently players are predictable and just pick the world at the top of the list. And on the data center travel confirmation screen, the cursor will now be positioned above the proceed button by default. They have made some addition to the auto translation dictionary, along with additions to the PlayStation and Xbox autocomplete dictionaries. New trophies have been added for PlayStation 5 and new achievements for Xbox Series X. Of course, new music, sound effects and voices have been added. And the now loading text displayed while logging in has been removed. Apparently this is made to reduce discrepancies between different platforms and languages. They've also made some changes to the launcher. The portion of the design has been altered. The name of the Lodestone tab in the menu of the top launcher has been changed to the Community. And selecting the tab will open the Community menu from which player can access the Lodestone, Events and Party Recruitment, Community Finder and Blogs. And new backgrounds have been added with Alphino, Alice, Yistola, Urianje, Thancred and Estinian. They have resolved multiple issues that you can read now scrolling past you on the screen. These are mostly related to various PvP actions. And then we also have several known issues that are still being worked on. And those are the patch notes for patch 7.2. I am never quite sure how to do these patch note read-throughs, so if you have any thoughts or any way you would like to see things done differently next time around, let me know down in the comments, and I would like to hear what you're most excited for out of the things that they've talked about. I for one am actually kinda excited for being able to mount while running. It is such a small change, but I think it's gonna be a great quality of life improvement. But let's talk about all of it down in the comments, and while you're down there, maybe throw me a commendation by liking and subscribing. And in the end, all I wanna say is takk fyrir að horfa, augðu yndislegan dag.